Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Weaver, and I'm the VP of Sales at NSA. It is with my great pleasure that I want to introduce Kodaris. Kodaris is a platform that includes multiple solutions from e-commerce to CRM to a bunch of other areas. We have two presenters today. So one presenter is Tony Zakula, who is the CEO and founder of Kodaris. So Tony, welcome.
Thank you.
And the second presenter today is Mike Mazzoni. That may be a familiar name to a number of folks. He was at Infor for 10 years, and Mike is the EVP of Platform Solutions with Kodaris. With that, gents, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending and giving us some time out of your busy schedules. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we're not going to bore you too bad. Mike and I will be talking about what we do, a little bit about our vision for the future, and about our solutions. Please, again, put questions in the chat. We'll take them throughout, and looking forward to interactive session here. A little bit about Kodaris. We're a distribution platform. We were founded 10 years ago. I'm personally a software engineer, have been for 25 years. Also have built in with some large global enterprises, and we founded the company about 10 years ago with the focus on that there needs to be a way to build a software as a service platform that can be customized per customer. A lot of what we do is the same in business, but it's that 10-20% that makes us unique, that gives us our competitive advantage and how we do it. And companies want to keep that as they grow and scale. Software has a tendency to force us into certain processes and procedures that start to take away that uniqueness of how we serve our customers. And it's becoming increasingly important as technology advances through all parts of life. So that was the engineering vision that we started out with. It's really took some years to take hold, but we are implementing that, scaling that as well. And that bolded point delivers solutions that meet your processes. That's where we're really focused on, as well as continuous innovation. We are 100% the distribution space, 90% in 4SX CSD currently. So we know the ERP well and the ecosystem and how many of your businesses operate using the Infor products. I want to talk briefly about the trends we have today. What we're seeing in the market, one of the things as a technology provider and as somebody who's been in technology many years, some things repeat themselves, some things get more efficient. About 10 years ago, 15 years ago, SaaS products came on the market and exploded and became very fragmented. So there's a lot of companies that build amazing point solutions, best of breed, and the market adapted. That's what was there. There's some extremely large name brand distributors, retailers who really are starting to realize they're investing in an ERP and maintaining a variety of point solutions that are best of breed is increasingly expensive. Maintaining integrations, all of the different factors that come with plugging solutions onto an ERP becomes increasingly difficult, as well as working through the idea that we can keep all these updated at the same time. When you look at, let's say, Amazon, who, everybody's wives support. My wife is probably the lead one supporting. I get many boxes every day. Tech companies operate a little bit of an advantage there, where they really build tech to serve customers, and that is primarily what they focus on, and are constantly building out these tech solutions. So this here is a lot of how we see a lot of the industry operating today. But if we look into the future, I think this is where the industry is going. An ERP that runs your business, operates as great a transaction scale, all the things that drive it. And then a customer success platform or a technology platform that's driving that interaction with your customers, maybe with your sales reps, streamlining transaction intake, uh, making it all compatible with your ERP, but operating in a real-time environment, notifying customers, notifying vendors, bringing data as a data hub that is triggering automated workflows. Uh, but it has to work in very tight conjunction with your ERP. We are an Infor partner. We take full advantage of the Infor OS, the data lakes, the APIs. We understand them very well, and it's really an amazing thing that I'd say it's probably one of the most market leading things that Infor has done is really making it a seamless way for partners like us to build on top of the platform and create very unique workflows, digital workflows, in concert with them to really drive business now and long into the future. So as you're thinking about what we're discussing today, you know, again, this is not something we came up with or a new theory. We're seeing this across the market, and we're seeing our own customers adopt one solution and then start to adopt more to remove some cost barriers, be more agile, move quicker, and be able to implement digital uh, projects much more quickly. So I want to touch on this slide before I hand it over to Mike. There's a couple things here. There's the customer portal. We view that it takes. How do you break down Amazon Web Services? How do you break down somebody that does so many things? We did it this way. The customer portal is really focused on your customers, how they interact with you digitally. Think that is a window into your operations. I just need to come. I need to look up my scheduled delivery dates. I need some copies of invoices. I need any number of things. And we continue to iterate out with this. And then we do high-end multi-channel commerce. Again, 100% distribution focused across multiple verticals. So a lot of the pain points that we work on and have solved over the years is really unique. We didn't start in the consumer space and try to bring it back into the B2B space. And then the operational portals where your employees live, all of our modules, administration, everything that's done to drive and run the platform is there. If we do work for you, many times we're doing it there as well. And then we do a lot with suppliers. Actually, outbound purchasing, inbound automation. But the idea there is that if you receive notification from suppliers as a price update or a special order delivery date, it can update CSD in real time. It can send a notification to a customer your date has changed. That end-to-end digital process there is really designed to streamline and automate as much as possible across the platform, eliminating the overhead and the delays of manual data entry, missed opportunities. And this is, again, this concept's not new. If you've ever listed, sold anything on Amazon, they don't they don't have humans. It's you list it, the suppliers list it, pricing's adjusted, customers get notification. Everything has to be automated end to end. So we're working with customers to bring those capabilities to all customers. And across the top there, I want to touch on this. You'll see the little white boxes. Because we're a newer tech stack, we're entirely driven to be integrated with or extended. And that means, and we have customers who maybe you have a large customer with their own IT team, and they say, look, we're never going to your customer portal to get copies of our orders. But if you could provide those electronically, we have a team, we'd like to use APIs to pull our data. That capability is there to you as a distributor. So essentially, you become a tech company with your logo. You can offer your customers APIs, integration capabilities, all of those things turnkey, and it looks like you. We even have a few customers where third-party software as a service applications are building against the distributor APIs to offer their customer service. So you can start to extend much further and deeper into your customers and markets with new technical capabilities versus just a website, just a customer portal. And we'll see that expand, I think, over the future, because as tech companies drive deeper into operations, that's going to become critical that you can offer digital services to your customers. Lastly, I'll mention that we started with a customer, so we're not VC funded. We started bootstrapped. Our first customer was a large distributor, and they're still our largest customer. But the way that we built and financed Kodaris was through services to our customers. So we're profitable. We make our money just like all of you do, and we grew with them over 6-7 years, and then we started offering our product to other customers. But one of the unique things we do is we release every 7 days. We're by far 90% engineers. Last year, we released over 10,000 updates to our customers. But one of the unique things that we did was I said I was going to build something for my first customer, and I was going to retain the intellectual property of that to build a product. We've continued that for 10 years, and now we continue that with all of our customers. All those updates go back to our customers free of charge every 7 days, which means we don't charge per module. We don't. Every update comes out, you can take advantage of it. Usually, no one's adopted everything on the platform, but it's there, and it's there for you to use to drive more value for your business. So it's a very unique model. We recently, in a formal commitment to that, developed an alliance of all of our customers who are contributing back to the platform with services to commit to continuous innovation. I like to think of it, instead of a buying association, a technology association. Customers working together to innovate, fund, build, and reap the rewards from the work across all the entire customer base. So it's a unique model, but we plan to continue it. We have no plans to change our model and how we're doing it today. I'll stop there. Any questions or anything on the model, on our history?
Nothing's been added to the chat, Tony, but I think we encourage any questions that you have. Of course, when we get to the end of the presentation, we'll share some contact information, and we're always happy to have continuing conversations with any of the folks on the call today, or any distributor out there. I think we all can learn from one another as we keep those conversations going. So.
Yeah, I'll just make one quick comment too. So if you look at this list of accounts of clients, and again, this is not all inclusive, of course, but a lot of these folks are very large organizations. So, Kodaris obviously has the ability to meet the needs of some very complex requirements in the various areas that they cover.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. All right, Tony, I think that's my cue to take over. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you again for your time. Before I jump in and kind of go through my part of the presentation, I just want to kind of come back to the way Brian introduced me and some things that Tony said. Having spent really the last 10 or 12 years with Infor, 20 some years with large ERP providers, and thinking about the capabilities that those types of solutions provide, I think those ERP capabilities are very good at handling high volume, daily blocking and tackling, transactional processing, running the business, the operations of the business, streamlining processes within your organization. And I had thought about this in the past, but really when I joined Kodaris and started working with Tony and the team, it became evident that while those ERP solutions do a great job from a core transactional processing perspective, often it's the customer engagement that that's not necessarily the focus of those types of solutions. And so when I first looked at, and actually it was a couple of years before I joined Kodaris that I understood what they were doing. I think it's a really exciting opportunity to really create that platform of customer success and customer engagement. And I think when I think about customers, yes, it's the distributors' customers who you're selling to, but it's folks outside of the organization. So it could be the suppliers and vendors. It could be the organizations, the associations that you partner with. It could be the internal users that are internal customers. And so how can we provide, complement the ERP transactional processing solution to provide the best experience through that customer success layer? So inevitably, we talk about, well, what is Kodaris? We like to start out kind of giving some background, talking about our philosophy around creating a community of innovation, continuous delivery of capabilities. But inevitably, the question goes to, okay, well, what modules, what solutions do you guys have? What do you deliver? So that's really where I'm going to spend my focus today. Let's talk a little bit about the Kodaris platform. So you saw that high level outline or representation of what the platform looks like. This gets a little bit more into the weeds. Certainly, this isn't an all-inclusive list, but I think it gives a better better visibility into, okay, what are some of those specific capabilities or modules or solutions that the Kodaris platform can offer. So here you see kind of the three pillars that Tony referenced. And when we think about supplier engagement, it almost is buried across all three of these. But I'm going to start out just talking about multi-channel commerce. And, yes, this is e-commerce. It's B2B and B2C. As a part of the platform, we provide a PIM, product information management tool, so that you can take the product data, whether it's ERP data or whether it's data that you want to build strictly in the PIM for whatever reason, and enrich that content that can be shared. As we move forward, we almost see this as the centerpiece for product master data management, knowing that product data, yes, it's shared with ERP. Often it's shared with analytics, it's shared with marketing, it's shared with commerce. So, as we move forward, are there opportunities there to think of a PIM as something more than just supporting the e-commerce platform? Fully content management solution embedded within the platform. But as we go further and we start to talk about multi-channel commerce, and I think about, well, what does that really mean? And when we talk about high-end commerce, what do we mean by that? First of all, when we say high-end commerce, we're really making reference to the fact that we can take small mid-market or enterprise organizations and give them tier one enterprise capabilities, give them the user experience for their customers that they might expect from one of those larger e-tail or retail organizations that we all know about. But how do we do that? First comes with performance, and this is a huge one for Tony as the team, as they engineered this platform from the ground up. It was critical that you as a distributor are providing high performance to your customers as they engage with you digitally. So from an e-commerce perspective, that means if I search the catalog wide open and it's going to return 3,000 SKUs because of I just did a vendor search, it needs to return pricing, it needs to return availability and sub-second performance. And so, that's what we expect and that's what we see out of our platform. And that performance, it's a small thing, but we all, anybody who's experienced the other side of that knows how frustrating it can be to your customers. And sometimes that lack of performance can drive customers away from the platform. It's too frustrating. So this seems like a simple one, but really a huge priority and focus for us as an organization, and not only from e-commerce perspective, but as we talk about moving forward with new capabilities. For example, generating customer-specific price books. We need to be able to do that, sure, but we need to be able to do that at high speed. We need to be able to deliver thousands of records in seconds, not hours. The second thing when I think about high-end commerce is, and we'll go back to multi-channel commerce. So it's not necessarily just e-commerce. We need to provide a robust e-commerce platform for your customers so they can come, they can engage. We'll talk about customer portal in a minute. But ultimately, and we were out visiting, I was out visiting one of our customers earlier that week, and the question came up, and the topic was, well, how do your sales team, can we walk through how they enter orders into the system? And, at the end of the conversation, what really came out of it is the ideal world, our sales reps are not entering orders in the system. They're not keying in line items and quantities and checking pricing. We're enabling our customers to do business with us digitally, whether it be through the e-commerce platform, whether it be through order automation tools. So they're going to send me a spreadsheet or a PDF document with their for their purchase order, whether it be through punch-out capabilities or EDI capabilities. And we need to be able to enable our customers to do business with us in any way they can, and really eliminate the non-value added process of keying orders into the system. Do we think that that happens 100% overnight? No, but you have to have the tools in place as a distributor to enable your customers to be driving towards more digital communication, more order automation, and that streamlines the process. It creates better performance and creates a better customer experience. Finally, when we talk about multi-channel commerce, when we talk about high-end commerce, again, fully B2B and B2C compatible. So you can have logged in shoppers, you can have guest shoppers, you can determine who sees what based on how they're interacting with the system. We enable multi-site compatible. We know many distributors have multiple websites or e-commerce B2B or B2C sites that they want to position, pointed potentially even to the same backend data, to the same company within their ERP. And then one of the other big ones is a true native mobile application that as a distributor you can provide to your customer. So it's branded, it gives your customers mobile access to really everything that they would have if they were logged into the full desktop site of the e-commerce platform, and ultimately creates a stickier relationship as the distributor with your customers.
I'll just add one thing in there, Mike. I think and I heard the CEO of ABC Supply speak last year, that the market's changing, the next generation is starting to take over companies. And they said while there may be slow adoption with the older generation on some of these toolings, when the younger generation takes over, there's expectations. There's expectations to be able to do everything digital, do it however they want to do it, and also have it personalized to them. And the person who's going to provide that for them will have them the next 10 years. They've studied it, they know it. And I think all these tool sets we're building and all these things we're working with our customers is working with our customers, with all of you, to understand how your customers buy. How do they want to place the order? Where are they at? How do they want to wake up, click a button on their phone, make sure that they get an alert that order's out for delivery that day, and do that 100% digitally? Because technology is becoming, as we all know, just a part of our lives, and we expect it to be there for us. Just like electricity, just like gas in our car, the expectation for younger generation is that it's there and it's personalized to me, and it knows what I want, it knows when I need it, and the more the better, because some other tech company is going to put it out there.
That's awesome. Thanks, Tony. So if we come back and we look at those kind of pillars of capabilities across the Kodaris platform, the next one I wanted to just spend a few minutes talking about is the customer portal. And this is where, as a distributor, your customers are going to be able to come to really manage their account. This enables customer self-service. And the idea here is, think about anything that your customer might pick up the phone and call and ask, any question they might have. Can we enable them to answer that question, to get the information that they need, to take the action that they need to take through a self-service portal? And that's really what this customer portal is driving towards. And again, just to come back, and if we think about what are some of the key capabilities of the customer portal, it's that first one is customer self-service, just to reiterate that. They want to be able to come, they want to be able to pull a copy of an invoice, to pull a copy of a statement. They want to be able to manage the buying patterns of their employees. So maybe they set up approval hierarchy such that, Tony's my boss. I do have purchasing power via e-commerce as the distributor customer now. I do have purchasing power, but anything above a certain dollar value needs to go to Tony for approval. Why does the distributor need to set up that the customers are really the ones that need the ability to do that self-service management of how they enable employees to purchase and how they drive that approval process in that example through their organization. As a customer, I want to be able to sign up for notifications so that when certain things happen, when my transaction gets processed, when a payment gets posted, when a credit gets posted, when something's approved, I'm notified that has taken place, whether it be via email, via text message. So again, certainly the distributor has the opportunity to sign those customers up to receive those notifications. But if we can enable that customer to go in, manage their own account, view their data, pull their records, make payments, which we'll talk about here in a second, sign up for notifications, that's really enabling your customers to self-serve. It's providing a higher level of customer service and really streamlining the back office operations for the distributor as well. When we continue across here, thinking about simplified payments, and this really what it comes down to is enabling the customers to go in and make payments against their account, whether they're paying down their open accounts receivable invoices, whether they're taking a credit that's on their account and applying it to open invoices. Perhaps they're making a deposit or down payment against an open transaction or against their account. So to make it very simple for the customer to log in through the customer portal, select the invoices or the payments they want to make, not only choose which payment method, but actually store those payment methods so that they're available next time. And when we talk about payment methods, we're talking about credit cards, we're talking about ACH and electronic funds transfer. Kodaris is a certified payment provider, so we also can enable compliant surcharging to your customers. We know that's a hot topic these days with distributors as it becomes more acceptable across the industries, across the marketplace. Can we do that? But can we remain compliant based on the type of payment, based on the geography or the state that the customer works in? So we can help not only simplify the customer make payments against their account, but distributor manage the overall payments process within their organization. I have a feeling Tony's going to chime in on this one, but just one more thought that I wanted to get out when it comes to customer portal. That's transactional insight, giving the customers access to their transactional information, whether it be historical information, whether it be looking at open transactions, open quotes or orders, identifying the status or stage of those, identifying the expectation with things like delivery dates. That transactional insight, again, becomes important when we talk about this overall customer experience and really enabling customer self-service. So before I keep going, Tony, anything that you wanted to add from a customer portal, customer self-service perspective?
Yeah, since you opened the door, I had
Yeah.
two comments. One, I think again on the digital process, the payments piece becomes a closed loop process. You invoice it in TSD or SX, it flows to us. Customer logs in, makes payments, it goes back automatically, it's automatically applied. Um, Really, that's freeing up, and Mike likes to talk a lot about exception operation. Where is the exception? And the more exceptions you eliminate, the faster the business runs, with less and less overhead. So there's a lot of exciting things we do here, but when you think about transactions, we have two or three, four outbound integrations now. So let's say your customers are using their ERP or QuickBooks or other small business, where can you automatically put the transactions all the way back into their system, and they have the capabilities to turn on an integration so that it goes in CSD, it's invoiced, those flow all the way back into, and you're giving your small businesses that capabilities that are typically reserved for very large EDI accounts. Um, those things get exciting because now your customer or your competition, if you're giving your customer that, your competition also has to provide that service. Otherwise, they're saving money by doing business with you. And then there's a service layer there besides price or phone calls or relationship, because now their business is more operationally efficient. So this seems kind of a boring area, but it's actually pretty exciting what's available, technology wise.
Agreed. Okay, we'll come back to the slide one last time. So we've talked about multi-channel commerce and e-commerce. We've talked about the customer portal and really customer self-service. Now we want to just spend a few minutes talking about what we call the operational and sales portal. And this is really where the distributors users would log in and manage some of this and have capabilities available for them to help streamline their process within the organization. So, if we look at some of the tools that are available, you'll see, things like holistic view of transactional data. So again, another place to consume information. But then we start to get in and think about things like customer relationship management or CRM. So we do have a CRM tool set, activity tracking, opportunity and customer prospect management. We can start to look at things like pipelines. We have quote and job management. Um, and above and beyond that, we have a ticketing system that can be used both by your employees internally to create and measure tasks and activities, but can also be deployed to your customer base if and when it made sense to allow them to, whether it's service tickets, whether it's account management requests, those kinds of things. So we think about, how would your employees use some of this operational and sales portal. CRM is, traditionally we think about a sales pipeline, but there's a lot that goes into making sure that you're understanding and managing those customer relationships, maybe above and beyond where the sales opportunities are. There's a few other tools listed here. Towards the bottom, we talk about logistics and proof of delivery. So we do have a driver delivery app, and we do have the ability to integrate to third-party route optimization tooling. So there's a number of capabilities. There's business intelligence tooling built into the platform. But again, without going specifically into each of these areas, I think there's a few things that, as I was thinking about what do I want to talk about in this 45 minutes or an hour we have this afternoon, how are our customers using that sales and operations portal? And I think, one of the first ones that jumps out at me is product data management and enrichment. And I started talking earlier about the PIM, the PIM being a core component of the Kodaris platform. And yes, part of a PIM is making sure that the product, the enriched content for that product is created. So you have categories and attributes. You have rich content like images and videos, product specifications or documentation. And yes, that's a big part of it, especially when we think about, providing a robust e-commerce experience for your customers. But there's more to it. And, we have customers that are already today taking external files, whether it be from trade associations or data providers or directly from manufacturers, and bringing that in, importing it in to update product data that then can be written back into the ERP, into CloudSuite distribution. And as we move forward, we see even greater opportunity, especially based on the volumes of data that people have to deal with and manage, to bring more of that. And as I mentioned earlier, look at product data management within the Kodaris platform almost as the master data management component of your ecosystem, where not only the enriched content is housed, but the product information or product data that drives purchasing and pricing and other variables within your organization is housed and maintained in Kodaris, and then updating the complementary solutions like CloudSuite distribution from a transactional processing perspective. So, big opportunities there through the sales and operations portal for and we say product data management, we're having conversations with customers around data management across the board. So we can help manage pricing records, we can help manage rebate records at high volume with mass changes. The next kind of bubble there talks about complex order sourcing logic. So what we really mean here, and actually at Infor, while I was there the last several years, one of the hot topics of conversation was this concept of automated order fulfillment. So an order comes in, it needs to be routed to the appropriate warehouse or location, or it needs to be split out into multiple orders. And really that's what we're essentially what we're talking about when we talk about complex order sourcing logic. So as those orders come in, either via email, that a PO that gets emailed to you as a PDF from your customer, the spreadsheet that comes in from the customer, the order that gets placed on the e-commerce site, or the punch out that comes from their business system, as those orders come in, can we evaluate those orders? We are evaluating those orders in the Kodaris platform and identifying how to source those. And a specific example of that is we have some customers that have extended their commerce catalog by partnering with, we'll call them friendly competitor distributors, and bringing their catalogs onto their commerce platform. These are not products they have set up in CSD. They're not products that they're ever going to stock on the shelf, but they want to make them available to sell through their commerce channels. Well, as those orders come in, we can evaluate those orders, understand what's coming from me as the distributor from my sourcing warehouse locations, understand what line items are coming from those partners that we have, those other distributor partners, auto route, split the orders, auto route the transactions, so create purchase orders. So it becomes a very robust automation tool to, we want to be able to take the orders from the customer. We want to be able to auto source those orders to satisfy the customer's needs. And we want to do that with as little manual intervention, really zero manual intervention as possible, to be able to service the customer effectively. That's one scenario. There are multiple other scenarios that we're working through with customers, but it speaks to our ability to work as a pre-processing engine as those orders are coming in via the multi-channels we talked about, and prior to them being placed into the ERP or created in CloudSuite distribution. The last bubble here I wanted to just touch on is this concept of operational automation. So I've brought up order automation multiple times already, right? Enabling customers to place orders and do business with us in whatever way makes the most sense, bringing in those electronic transactions and automating that process through to create the quote or sales order. Along those same lines, we've got accounts payable automation tooling available to us. So we have customers that are essentially routing their AP invoices to the Kodaris platform. We're using advanced tooling, both Kodaris built tooling as well as AWS Textract artificial intelligence tooling to read those AP invoices from the vendor, create the digital record, do the three-way matching with the vendor purchase order and receipts, and then finally processing those through to CloudSuite distribution. So there's a lot of companies that are doing that today, right? We recognize that, but we think we're really going at this from a different approach. We're leveraging that Kodaris platform to apply business rules, to transform data, to drive higher levels of automation, really with the goal of 100% automation prior to ever sending that supplier invoice bod over to CloudSuite distribution. Just one other kind of concept, when we talk about operational automation, we have customers who will do large quotes on jobs to their customers. So the distributor's quoting a job, and that quote might be out there for a month, it might be out there for 6 months, it might be out there for a year. So what they want to do is they want to be able to put quote escalations in place over time so that they don't have to remember, oh, geez, it's been out there for 60 days. The job's still open, even though it hasn't been awarded yet. Based on the change in the market, we need to put an escalation on the quoted price. So, how can we build an automated process to trigger those escalations, to notify both the internal sales rep and the customer that the escalation is approaching? So that's just another example of where operational automation can be achieved through the Kodaris platform. Tony, I included you the first 2 times, so I'm going to keep it going this time and see if you have anything to add.
No, I think this is some of the most exciting things we're doing. And again, it's with customers, we're technologists. We're doing this hand in hand with customer IT teams. So the opportunities here, I think, as you think about it, is invariably once you automate one step, it's like, oh, could we automate these next 2-3 steps? And we're constantly challenging on how much automation we can get within parameters of your business process to drive value. I'm also just going to point out we do eat our own dog food. That's a tech term where we use our own PIM. We do have a PIM team that does services, and we actually, if we did product enrichment for you, we log into your PIM and use our own tools. We use our own ticket system. We use our own CRM. So all of these tools are not just something we're dreaming up or we're building based on one customer's feedback. We're doing many customer feedbacks. Even our software contracts are managed by our own pricing engine and contract module. So we're hypercritical of ourselves, as well as our customers are constantly requesting things. So many software providers are building software they don't use. That's not the case for us at all. We do have 2 questions. Well, Mike, if you want to take them now, or you want.
Yeah, why don't we jump in now?
So the first question I'll take. Second question I'll let Mike take. How tied in is the CRM to CSD data, ARC? I think that's ARSS, CAM. Is there a 2-way sync? So and the second part of that is have you ever integrated a marketing automation tool like Marketo, HubSpot, MailChimp, or Outlook 365? The CSD question is interesting. So we do fully integrate with the any table that's in the data lake we pull. We don't actually run off CSD. Our engine runs separately, but we do bring out I don't know, it's probably nearing 20-25 tables out of the data lake. We can bring out more. Anything that's there in Infor is made available. We have a flexible dynamic schema in our system, dynamic tables. So we can leverage all that data, which ARC, ARSS, your orders, order lines, all of those things are standard data. Vendors, purchase orders, even ARET for payment portal processing and other things. So the integration is very, very deep, and we are an Infor partner and collaborate with them as well. And then, of course, putting data back into CSD, we'd use standard APIs or tooling that's available, including the service APIs or other things. We leverage all of those capabilities. Again, and when Mike was at Infor, we used to talk about it, and Infor talks about, opening it up so that you can get what you need from your business and your partners, and that's available. And we know those things very, very well. The third-party tooling, absolutely. Outlook, Google, any of those tools, Marketo, MailChimp, and we're building new integrations, standard integrations all the time. We have our own integration hub that takes in massive amounts of records. So every database, right, happening in CSD is flowing to us in real time, and we ingest those constantly from all of our customers. Supplier integrations, million SKU uploads of changes from your suppliers. We're used to taking and processing those massive amounts of data on a continuous basis. The second question, AP automation, how mature is the exception handling part of the process? How configurable is it? I'll let Mike, you can take that.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. So, it's an interesting question because I think historically, when we think about AP automation, whether it be through optical character recognition tool set or via EDI, the concept was whatever the vendor invoice says, it is what gets entered into CloudSuite distribution or SX, right? And then SX has tolerances built at the vendor level that will catch the exceptions and put it in an exception state that then needs to be reviewed, updated, or posted by the accounts payable person. So out of the box, we do that. We have some customers that say, Mike, we want you to transform the PDF into digital data, and we'll use the CSD exception tooling. However, and this is where we take a little bit of a different approach, we can actually do, and I kind of refer to it as pre-processing, or think about data transformation. So we are matching via the Kodaris portal. We can capture the exceptions. And what we also do is we use a rules engine to either identify exceptions that can flow through, or identify and correct those exceptions in an automated process. So I'd just give one simple example. We have a customer who gets a whole order discount from their vendor if they hit a certain target value in terms of dollars and cents. Well, they say we always hit that. We don't cut a PO unless we hit the target. So they assume the discount in the replacement cost on the PO. The problem is the vendor invoice comes in with the full cost pre-discount, and that's never going to match the PO that has the discounted replacement purchase price. Well, you're going to have a discrepancy each and every time. So what we can do is and what we have done is we leverage our Kodaris rules engine through the AP process to say if there's a whole order discount below the subtotal, apply that prorated across the line items so that the unit price matches. So when we talk about exceptions and how good is it at handling, what we really like to think about this, and ultimately it comes down to one vendor at a time, although you'll find consistencies across vendors. But not only how can we understand the document and translate it into a digital format similar to EDI, but how do we understand where there's mismatch, and is there a rule that can be applied that can correct those, or is there an exception that needs to be set with a notification for somebody to review? So we're handling it all the way from let it flow and let CSD pick up and manage exceptions, to we want to catch the exceptions first, to we understand what the exceptions are and we're going to apply rules to correct those. And I think to go back to what I think I stated earlier, the goal here is not just to reduce some keystrokes, but it's to drive 100% automation across not only the accounts payable, but the sales order automation capabilities.
Important concept as well that Mike mentioned, and that his example was, that means it's customizable per you, because how you generate POs affects that matching. So it's not even can you make it match, can you do it one way? It's can you do it and personalize it to me and my operations, which we pointed out earlier was the whole goal of the software stack. Because a different distributor may create those POs entirely differently.
So I've got a few minutes left, and I've got a few more things that I just wanted to talk about. Appreciate the questions. Good to see you, Chris. So what does it look like for an implementation perspective, and then really what's that longer term partnership look like? And I think this is a big one. Tony's alluded to this, but just want to make sure that we as a group, you folks are understanding, comfortable with how we work with our customers, with our partners in implementing our capabilities. So yeah, typically, we've talked about a platform of solutions. Tony talked about the fact that often our customers they may be interested in quite a bit or all of what we have to offer, but we see, and this is most common, and we encourage that crawl, walk, run approach. So, whether it's multi-channel commerce and customer portal is where we start, or payments. We work through implementation. As part of implementation, there's an account manager that gets assigned. There's engineers who are associated with the implementation who are working continuously, both with internally our account team as well as with the customer directly, to make sure that we hit that go live target for whatever component or capability is being implemented. By the way, we have the resources to move as quick as the customer would like to work, as quick as the distributor would like to work to implement. And that really provides fast time to value. We want our customers to start to take advantage, and here's the crawl, walk, run approach, start to take advantage of those tools as quickly as possible so that they can be seeing a return on the investment and get live on that component. But really what happens, and I've said this going back when I used to implement and take companies live, distributors live on ERP platforms, it feels like go live is the end of the project when really it's the start, right? Now that technology is available, I think if over the years, if I've looked at the most successful distributors that I've worked with, they've implemented a methodology of continuous improvement. And a part of what we want to do at Kodaris is make sure we're driving that continuous improvement mentality. We continue to meet with the majority of our customers, even after they're live on the capability or the solution. We are looking for new opportunities to drive value, whether it's with an existing component of the Kodaris platform, or whether it's driving some new capability, innovative technology that's going to better enable the distributor to work with their customers, or better help them to manage millions of records of pricing records or rebate records across their organization. So it really is an ongoing partnership, and we're going to do this with each and every customer we have. And so one of the things that when I was talking to Tony about coming over, I was used to managing an ERP roadmap. And Tony said something to me. He said, Mike, our customers all have their own roadmap. They have ideas of what they want to implement. They have ideas of how they can streamline their business, how they can continue to be innovative and differentiate themselves from the competition. So, that's really, when we talk about go live is just the beginning, that's what we're talking about, that continuous improvement, continuous engagement model with the Kodaris team. And I want to bring back, I know Tony showed this slide earlier and Brian called it out. That really comes back to this concept of community-driven innovation. Because keep in mind, as we continue to work with these distributors, to work with our customers, and we're building new capabilities and releasing new features every week, that becomes, those capabilities and features become part of our platform and available to our community of innovators. And so, again, each and every one of us driving innovation that serves the whole community. Couple of other things to call out. we want to be very transparent in terms of the capabilities we offer, the documentation that we provide. So if you go to either Kodaris.com and go to, I think it's the learning capabilities, or you go to docs.kodaris.com, you'll see we've got it publicly available, all the product documentation for the platform itself. We also have an extensive YouTube channel. You can go to that YouTube channel and you can watch, from short, quick hit videos to longer instructional videos. There's a number of playlists out there. So if you're interested in understanding more about the PIM, for example, there's a playlist dedicated to the PIM capabilities. So, we encourage you to go take advantage of that. Always happy to have additional conversations one-on-one, but we encourage you, as you want to learn more, to take advantage of our documentation and the content available through YouTube. The other thing I wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of, and um, I think this has been one of the things that's been a priority for Tony, is to continue to build a great team with a tremendous amount of experience, not only with Infor, but across the distribution industry, people who understand the market, who understand distributors and what's important to them. And so that's going to enable us, when we're having conversations about what's the next great innovative capability we want to deliver, to be able to provide value above and beyond just the tech stack or the technology. And really, I wasn't sure how long. I'd never know when I'm doing a presentation exactly how long it's going to take, but we pretty much used the hour. I think there was a lot of good content here. We appreciate the questions. I wanted to include some contacts, not only for Tony and I, but we're definitely love our partnership with NSA. We have worked closely with the NSA team, and wanted to make sure that you can always reach out to your NSA account rep or Mary Bennett if you have questions, you want to learn more. But appreciate it. I want to say thank you, Tony. I don't know if you have any closing remarks.
I just want to thank everyone for taking the time, and I hope above all else that as you talk to folks about us or you look at the products we offer, we do view it as a combined partnership with customers. Without all of you, we wouldn't be here. It's customers who drive our technology and our team, and why we're so committed to the community on providing overwhelming value with everything we do. Because there's a lot of, I personally have worked many years in Silicon Valley and other software companies, and the attitude many times is we're going to build software that's going to change the world and people are going to adapt. And I think our commitment is we're going to service the needs of our customers, and they're going to keep us innovative because we all know how fast technology is changing, but without the business knowledge of your operations, your customers, your needs, we wouldn't be on point with our solutions. So it's exciting. It's going to be exciting next 10 years in technology. And we're seeing more and more of everyone join our community to try to service their customers at a faster and faster rate.
Yeah, guys, I'd just like to thank both Tony and Mike for taking the time out today for the presentation with Kodaris. Kodaris is a tremendous partner of NSA Plus. And as many of you know, over the last 10 years, NSA has built the NSA Plus partnerships with a number of different vendors, with a number of different solutions. And I just have to say that you can't overemphasize the value of a platform that covers probably about a third of the NSA Plus solutions, from CRM to business intelligence to AR and AP automation to e-commerce, etc. To be able to work with one environment that is very responsive in terms of speed and so on, which is so critical, like Mike had mentioned, I think is something that is a huge differentiator for Kodaris in the marketplace. So thank you all for joining us today. This is a wrap, and we will get the recording out within the next 24 hours to folks. And again, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to attend.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, guys.